Starting. Here we are, live at 5. Yeah, it's just turning here. So I'm not sure if I'm actually live at this. Here we are. There we go. Hello, everyone. It's Cheryl Millett, live at 5 on Monday. Sorry to miss last week, but we were in the throes of helping New Earth Estate work on their teepee village. There was much they had to do because of the weather. The spring was kind of this or that, but they had a bit of work to do because of the teepees needing the repairs that they did, so they had a little bit more than they needed, and it was great to help them out. So New Earth Estate, look that up, newearthestate.com, and there's an experience there for you, for your friends, for family, because you can have a whole teepee to yourself, but you'll see that there's a hot tub and a sauna, which is just generated, the heat is generated by wood. So it's kind of fun. The village itself, just kind of being there, you have your own teepee, your own kind of space, but it has a utility building, which is complete with washrooms, complete with showers, and then you're right on the river. It's just a beautiful place. I did take a number of photos. I haven't taken them off my phone yet, but I'm going to post them up. I probably have some older videos too as well. So if you've come on here, feel free to say hello. For some of you, depending on who's on now, you'll see that I have a wonderful new camera. And a lot's happened in a week or 10 days since the last time I came on, and to get caught up. So it just came to me this morning as in what to kind of focus on for today, which is all these wonderful P words which I posted. And peace, I thought, would be number one, because during this time or any time in anybody's life, it is about learning to bring the peace for yourself. Everybody's going to be unique here, so this is the important thing to remember. What makes you feel at peace is going to be different than what somebody else, but the other side of that is what is needing to fall away, what is needing to overcome, what is needing to change, perhaps, to bring closer and closer to peace. Quite often people mention happiness, but I like to refer to as peace, because that's how it kind of feels when you're happy. Happy can have a lot of expectations on it. I'll feel happy when, I'll feel happy when this happens and that. And so expectations kind of get wrapped up so closely with happiness. I kind of morphed it into the word peace, and being at peace and promoting peace. Peace, what does peace feel like? And everybody in their own time, whether they felt peace and what it feels like. But I see that there's different degrees of peace, and you just keep going. This is no different than what I've talked about in the past about relaxation, and how relaxation, you just keep going. If you've learned a little bit about relaxation in the past, you might agree that relaxation, there's so many different degrees. You just feel it even in the throes of just getting in relaxed. You're taking it in different degrees. You're tightening this. I don't know if I've ever mentioned tilde and tension exercises, but the idea, and I have brought this up before, this is only the first part of it, but the idea is to tense your body, and the way, this is a doctor from almost 100 years ago. He first will get you to tighten the legs, and using your toes to point the toes and then kind of curl under. You want to avoid getting any cramps or anything, but you do it to the tightness that you can, right up to the legs, right up to the glutes, the bum, and you then after that relax. And as you breathe, and every time you breathe out, you're relaxing that part of your body more and more till you can get it to relax. But you repeat that. So you repeat it 5 times, and then after you've done it 5 times with the lower body, you do it 5 times with the arms. So shoulders, arms, hands, and you make fists. So you get really, really, really tight as you can get it, and then you relax again. With every breath, you're just relaxing, feeling it relax, and then you repeat that 5 times, and then you go back to the legs 5 times, and then back to the arms 5 times. And as part of Tilde Intention, it's the first thing you would do in the morning. In the morning. So you lie in your bed. Even if you lie in your bed and you don't want to get out, this is an easy thing for you to do, lying in your bed. Just do that. And then the Tilde Intention exercises gets in. There's several of them, and the different parts to it. And then, but you're working off of your bed, which when I did it in Move Well for Your Better Health, like a movement, Move Well for Your Better Health. It was kind of like a workshop. You can't do it on Zoom. Well, I probably could, but the idea would be, I had the massage table out, and everybody got to practice. It was over 2 weeks, but the core thing was them to learn these movements which was kind of fun, to create the document with all the postures and the positions using stick people. I can draw, but it just made much more sense to use stick people. So that's peace. That was number 1P. Number 2P, I've got my notes here, was actually posture. I'm just reading a book of a friend, but first personal trainer of mine, and he has a book. I don't have it here. I'm gonna show it next week. It's actually in the house. But it's One Body is the name of the book by Michael Okumura, and really he was probably, I don't know if I'd say the catalyst, but key in my life to focus on posture. It made so much sense thinking about the times I spent at the chiropractor and what could I do for myself, my own body, in order to keep it the healthiest. So knowing that our nervous system is so valuable, the brain to the rest of the body, posture seemed like it just seemed like the thing to learn. So the second P being posture is, what is proper posture? And the idea is if you take a deep breath, and breath in itself can be relaxation, but breath in itself can expand the body. And if you're breathing in, you lift up your body, you can breathe into your rib cage, you can breathe into your abdomen, but at the end of the day, when you take that deep breath, you can't help but stand up or sit up straight. You just can't. Do it now. Just do it. Just kind of, you can put you here to kind of help expand your rib cage, but really it's kind of the full breath in every part of your body where you just, shoulders kind of drop. The head is another part, because the head is not necessarily with the breath, but for some people, we've been used to using the cell phones or used to looking down. And the idea is, there's you've heard this before, the thread that is at the crown of the head that kind of extends up, so you can pull yourself up with that as well. That's kind of pushing up, and as I'm sitting here, pushing up the spine. And then you want to relax with it, because that's the other part of the posture, is to be relaxed and comfortable with it at the end of the day. What I find is the shoulders are not necessarily part of the spine, but it's still part of the posture. We can talk about that. And if you turn your hands, your palms up, and you kind of like, what you're doing is you're kind of just rolling the shoulders back. And with the hands, the palms up like this, you're actually going to feel how the shoulders open up. And you can, when you're not using your keyboard, or if you're just having dinner, something like that, just rest your palm with your palms facing up, and your elbows right beside the body, and the shoulders back, and just breathe into that. And then you can feel that difference with the posture. So posture is very key. You want to have the expansion of the spine, which is that, and the head. When we talked about the thread pulling the body up, is we don't want to have the head forward and pulling it up, but we want to have the head up with a natural curve. There's a natural curve there with the upper cervical spine, and you definitely want to have that. And so I used to go sideways, right? So quite often you see people here and they're like this, but you want to have your head up, and so your chin is kind of back a little bit. But play with it and do some more research on it and see it and practice it daily, regularly. I don't want to say every hour. This is not about bringing more for you to do, having a natural, having more of a routine, and it's mechanical. So that's posture. The third P is positive, and being positive, a positive attitude, looking on the positive side of things. So we can use positive in many, many ways. Positive as well, do you see the glass half full or the glass half empty? Positive attitude, positivity. And one of the things that is a tool, which I will give you right now to feel positive, is to smile. That's all you have to do, smile. It doesn't even matter if anybody's around, doesn't even matter if, wherever you are, if you just put a smile on your face, that will, you can think of your posture, you can think of positive, and they kind of go together. And you will, your face will look more positive, it'll look happier. So there's that. Now you don't have to do a big smile. You can just do a little, a little smile. And just as you think about it, just that little smile, being positive and feeling positive, you'll feel lighter, you'll feel, everybody's going to be different. So there's the uniqueness across all of these P words for sure. Definitely. So that was positive. The fourth one, which I want to kind of bring up, it comes into me understanding more about health and the physical body and through nutrition, and it is the word paleo. Paleo, just simply, without making it too detailed and too exact, is just eating like our ancestors ate, eating closer to the land, eating whole foods. And in the way of paleo, the grains, so agricultural wasn't around. So think of paleo pre-agriculture, so pre-grains, where we understand more and more that grains, wheat belly, all those things, actually cause inflammation. Now the idea is we have to have all of those cooked very well, but it's harder to digest. Soaking comes into play and all of that, whereas paleo is quite simple. Meat and vegetables, very few fruit, but they did have fruit, but seasonal fruit, and things that grow in your local region, in your area, whatever it is. It could expand all across country. So Canada, so when I'm thinking about the clean diet for people, what I would recommend for fruits is the fruits that we kind of have here in Ontario, be it Toronto where I am, and where maybe most of you are in here, but it would be apples. These are the clean fruits. I'm not talking about the pesticides and things like that. Obviously, organic is best, but apples, apricots, pears, plums. So very simple fruits. But berries are good too. So on the paleo diet, berries grow very well. But the thing about berries is the mold. Because berries, when they are picked, lose their vibration very quickly, especially think of soft berries like raspberries, strawberries. And for people who are very sensitive to molds, or for people's digestive system are not impeccable, then the molds become the challenge there. So berries are included, but if you can go and pick them and eat them, forage them and eat them, you have them in your garden, eat them, that would be the ideal. I've even tasted mold on berries, frozen berries. So sometimes people will say frozen berries are good. But just kind of mention that. So paleo, do your research on paleo, or I'll talk more about paleo in good time. Now, the other thing, the other P here, again, I wrote them down because I kept coming up with more and more P's, not just the 7 P's. But number 5 would be preventative. So prevention. Prevention is key when we're thinking about our health. When it comes to having conditions, it's trickier. It takes more discipline to undo, to reverse, to move into eating a certain way. Whereas prevention is really all of the things that are healthy for our body, as they talk about the rest, the sleep. You know, we talked about relaxation too as well, balance, yes, the diet, and then activity, right? So along with activity would be, yes, practicing of posture, breathing, all the things around activity. Walking is quite simple, but even cleaning house is activity. So there's all these other things. We may think that we're they're beneath us, but I'd say when it comes to being respectful of ourselves and our health is the way we keep our home organized to the degree, cleaning. So these are things that you can do to be active. You're lifting things, you're moving things, so clean. That's prevention. So prevention, as they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Take that to heart, and not, well, some people, I guess you can say you can take it to the bank as well, because it really helps in the long run for all the aggravation you would have with time off of work, or anything that can come with conditions, the struggle and stuff like that. Prevention, very, very, very important. So take it to heart and understand what are the key things for health. And if you need help with that, you're just going to let me know. Actually, I've decided to do more online things, but definitely decided to work with people more on the balance side, the all overall health kind of things. So the mind, body, absolutely. In some cases for people, the spiritual, but it's like this balance. And to continue with the lower rate. I know as practitioners, we tend to spend a lot of time on research. We'll spend more time besides the time we're with people. So we've quite often had rates of 100, 150, 200 in cases for some. But the idea, I thought, I'm just going to stick with $50, and especially if here, you're listening to it, that's kind of the rate. But prevention is important. But at any time in your life where things aren't balanced, things don't feel right, things are moving the way, that's the time to start thinking about it, because that's even prevention. If you let it go, if you don't pay attention to it, then things kind of progress. So that's that. The other thing that I wanted to mention here, number six, because I got all these P words, is politics, policies, police. Now I'm kind of getting into the current event here. And so all of these kind of matter, and I'm understanding that more and more in the line of politics, that it's our politicians that will need to kind of speak up for some reason. The wonderful P word, people, politicians, and all of this, we're all in this together, and we do have to present our ideas, present the way we're thinking and feeling, and support each other so that they know, they learn. But something bigger is going on with this event, because it just doesn't add up. And after I go through these P's, I'm going to go into a little bit more of the news here. But that's, there's a lot of P's there: police and people and politics and policies and all of that. The seventh one that I have here, I tried to stay still to the 7, but you can see there's more words coming out, is being prepared. Now I kind of want to step back with being prepared in the conversation of preparation. But preparation, we can see it in one degree where we're coming at it in fear, right? Stocking up in the toilet paper, paper towels, all of that fear-driven preparedness. But then there's the other prepared, which is being prepared for things that come our way, whether it's a challenge, and these things kind of happen. And there's a mental preparedness and there's a physical preparedness when we think of being prepared. If we get into the prevention kind of conversation, if you just remember that, preparing is using prevention to your benefit and looking into that. But preparedness goes into how are you prepared when things happen like this wonderful event, wonderful not, but event. It's got all its positive things, really, and now I'm going to go into a few of those. But being prepared. So if you were going on a drive somewhere, if you were going on for a long walk, if you were going on a trip, if you were having a dinner party, think of that, there's preparedness. So preparing is in everything. You can ask yourself the question, if you are doing something, organizing something, being part of something, how can I best prepare? Sometimes in the case of, how would I say it, in the case of projects, what another wonderful P word, in case of projects, you prepare for the worst case scenario. There's also that. And we do that with travel. I don't know how many times you're going to go away and you go, well, what if it's cool? You know, it's cool at night, or what if it rains, and what if it's sunny? So you're kind of preparing yourself for what could happen, you know, the unknown. And this is an unknown event, and how many people were prepared for the unknown event. And that may be, not that we're thinking this is going to continue and roll, that is still unknown. But at this moment, preparing right now in this moment. So let's just kind of, let me just kind of brainstorm here as I'm trying to think about it as prepared right now. The idea is to be informed, yes, so that is preparing. I mean, so there's something coming down. Also, I'm going to put a couple of links below, but I'm going to go through it as well. Being prepared is, I think, being more knowledgeable as well. So preparing, being more knowledgeable. How is things working? What are people, like these investigative reporters out there have given me all kinds of things to research, to think about, to support. And this has been very, very helpful, because a lot of these things I had no idea. Was not keen on politics at all. But the idea is knowing enough is being prepared. So prepared, whatever that means to you for whatever situation, I think it's always a good idea to be prepared with things, food, and I mean, what if electricity goes out? And being prepared is, in some ways, as you'll have seen them, is these survival scenarios, groups, courses. I mean, what if you like camping, but camping can be very comfortable? But what if? You know, what if? All these what if scenarios. But the idea, if we get back to our health, you can never go wrong with being prepared by, you know, prevention, you know, all the things that are important for our health, even mental health. So that's preparedness. That was number 7. And I think the only thing, I'm going to circle back to peace for a moment, because it just kind of popped in. And the circle thing with peace is, what I think is important is to take pause. And this is a tool for being at peace, is actually to take a pause. Breathing, there's pauses, right? Breathe in, pause, breathe out, pause. So at a simple survival oxygen that we absolutely need for functioning, pause is at that level. Pause between everything that you're doing. And it's almost, let's say I wanted to get up right now and go out, but before I actually get up, which is easy for my body to, you know, my mind, my brain to tell my body to get up, it's almost, you could do it without thinking. But a tool for carrying peace and to get into peace more and more moments of your day is actually to take a pause. And you can look at it as a pause being useful in between everything you do. So you finish your brushing your teeth, you pause. You go to brush your teeth. Before you actually go to brush your teeth, you pause. So then you're at one with your toothbrush, at one with the toothpaste going on it. So you can see how this would expand into you pause and then you're more present. Oh, what a great word, to be present. So the pause helps you to be more present in the now, and you do it again between everything that you do. So if I was cutting up tomatoes, this is a little bit of micro, so let's say I'm making dinner. Before I start to make the dinner, I pause. All right, so now I'm going to go get the tomato. Before I start cutting the tomato, I take a pause. I've got a sharp instrument in my hand. This is safety. This has always been my thing in life, safety first. So we got a knife in our hand, we're going to cut the tomato. Is it the best knife? So as you pause, you get into thinking about what you have to think about. Is this the right knife that's going to cut? Did I grab the right knife? And it's almost like you get into a little bit of slow-mo, which is not a bad thing. So we're just going to kind of jump into Mexico or the Caribbean, where they would say everything takes 5 times longer, like you're in Jamaican time, right? So pause, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tool to have. Yes, is it being more mindful? That kind of things. And but this is, I like to actually explain things in the way that we can do throughout our day, and we're not going to go, okay, I'm going to have a meditation period here, and that's fine. You don't stop your meditations, but you're really taking a pause, which is actually similar to kind of like the meditation, if that makes sense, but it's a second pause or 2, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. There's no hard rules here for that. So let's see. Let's get into the news. How is everybody doing? Yeah, how is everybody doing? Things as language, as they say, are opening up, but some of you might very well be getting more of the post. Never mind the prediction parts, which came early in the COVID. Poor predictions, I must say. I mean, I was researching and getting these numbers like, let me just give you an example. I'm not sure where the numbers are with the US, but I wrote these numbers down. Yes, here they are. So predictions. Predictions were made earlier on in the game, which really is what caused all this emergency and lockdown nonsense. And did I write that guy's name down? I did. Okay, so I have his name. The idea here is they went through predictions, and the predictions, this is an important exercise to go through. Whether you can find it online or not, some of the old news is probably still up there, articles from media. 2.2 million dead in the U.S. That was the predictions in the U.S. 2.2 million. Now, I did hear we were over 100,000, 100K. But think about, post here, which is happening. So I'm toggling back and forth. That there's nurses, doctors coming out, and there's one nurse, which I'll post up the video. Some of these things are a bit lengthy, but I cannot help myself but look through or watch all of it, where she talks about her experience. She was in the military, so she's been in nursing. She was at 2 different hospitals. She's 37, and she was speaking to the very fact that a person could come in and, I've got to go through some Facebook messages here, but I'm going to post that. But let me find where I actually had it. Let me find it. I hope I still have it up here. It actually was going through, I don't have it anymore. Wherever it is here. But what it was is it was messages on Twitter. I think it was Twitter, but I thought they were on Facebook here. What they were is they were people who were going, I'm just going to make this up, so don't take this for me, but this is exactly what it says. My brother had a heart attack, and my brother went into the hospital, And on the death certificate, they marked COVID. He didn't have COVID. Another one was, I'm making it up again, but it's a little similar. My sister got hit by something. She fell down and hit her head really badly. And through those injuries and everything that was going on with emergency and stuff like that, she died, and they marked her as COVID. So when I think of the numbers coming in from the US, and there was even that CDC lady, now I can't even remember now her name, Fauci, his name's kind of goes or whatever, but Birx, there it is, Dr. Birx. And she was saying that, you know, there's a lot of false positives, yes, and if people were dying with COVID, not from COVID, it was being piled in the numbers as COVID. End of story. So how blown up it is, we don't need to get, you know, we don't really need to know all of that, but the idea is the numbers. So you have these crazy predictions. Now, where do these predictions come from initially? Here's what I was led to believe, that there's this Professor Neil Ferguson at the Imperial College in London, and he apparently comes up with predictions, not this time, decades, and has been wrong every time, seriously wrong every time. And here you go, people. This whole global scenario, event, I'll call it, is based on a fella who predicted numbers that, again, has a history of being wrong, seriously wrong. And these are the numbers they based it off of. So I'm not sure where the minds are of the good people who are making the calls at the country's level. Obviously, you can see that because it was kind of this global thing, and who got involved, the World Health Organization, which is in trouble themselves, that kind of got involved in many countries in the world. And what the good people do is they get in fear. They want to be safe. They want to make sure they do their best. They want to make sure less people get killed. I get it, you know, and that's what can happen when the train leaves the station, is to get all of this fear. And some of us will question first, and some will not question. And that's just the way it kind of works here. And still, there's many scenarios here with the Toronto School Board. I did a survey, and absolutely they are going to allow parents to keep their children at home to do their work if they're not comfortable going to school. And it's been spoken many times that children, healthy children, have nothing to fear. I mean, remember the times in these early predictions where healthy people are going to die. A pandemic is everybody and anybody is susceptible, is going to die. Then the narrative changed, and it wasn't that. It was the immune compromised people that were going to die. That's not a pandemic, people. That's not a pandemic. To understand a pandemic the way the WHO used to say it was if many people were dying. Then they get into the pandemic emergency scenario. But in this case, that's not what it was about. They changed the definition of it, and really a pandemic was if the possibility of many millions and upon millions are going to die, then and only then would it be a pandemic. So they changed it. And when you change a definition like that, it can make the world of difference. But if you think of the predictions, and you think of who is the people who are getting involved in this pandemic, and who's making the call, I mean, the people, the good people, don't necessarily have a leg to stand on when that kind of fear is kind of going through the media, going through news. Then it becomes the train left a station and probably was picking up so much speed, and where people's mental states were, and the anxiety and all of that kind of stuff. So we're kind of that. So the schools, there's a comfort level, but crazy as it is, there's definitely so many of these businesses, if they want to stay open to make money, has to deal with the politics, which you have to wear a mask. And people like myself and numerous others, I want to say thousands, tens of thousands, are refusing to wear a mask. Now, there's going to be maybe a scenario where you're going to have to I'm going to have to put a mask. I'm not going to be silly about it. If I have to do something and I need to do something, I'll do something. But generally speaking, when I was driving from up north, because I was away last week, driving home, and we stopped in a trading post, and you couldn't go in without a mask. So there was a lovely lady out there, and just saying, their hands are tied, so they have to follow the rules and regulations, otherwise they can be closed down. And that's all part and parcel of this, current event. So what else do we have? And I'd love to find, I'm going to look for it. I think I know who sent it to me. Yes, please, please, please continue, people here, to send me the different links, because that just allows me quickly and easily to see what is circulating, and then I just kind of feel it out and see. I try not to spend too much time on the same subject, that kind of thing, but sometimes you kind of get the gist out. So this is really cool. I'm going to talk to this here. We might be on here for an hour easily today. So July 1st, I'm going to put this link below. July 1st, 2020 in Ottawa, we need your support. This is Justice for Canada. And how cool this is they are doing a planned march. And this is, if you're in the Ottawa area, you may know about it. But the idea is it's about corruption. But I'm going to put the link down. Partially, I'm going to put the link down because of the different writings, the different, I could say, articles that it goes into. So Justice for Canada. And let's just say the Premier, not the Premier, but their Prime Minister, another P word, is in trouble. He is in deep trouble. If we think we've heard enough about that, and it's covered, no. So there's some very interesting things going on there, and if that's of interest to you, a little bit of politics, a little bit of knowing what's going on as far as the good people who are in the know of that, are backed by lawyers, are doing some citizen court stuff and things like that, that may be one of probably many places to do that. So that is that. So one of the things around this is positive is, but again, I don't know what they're saying, I don't know what their tools are, is the mental health and well-being resources that are coming out. I think what's so cool about it, what's positive, is that if children didn't have any tools before, they may have tools now. Like a third-party thing and all of that. So not going through it myself, I can't say exactly what their intentions are, but usually when it comes to mental health, they're lovely people. They're very, very supportive. So that was clear through my reading of the Toronto District School Board and the resources. I haven't gone on it or haven't read it, but they actually have a link and they have a whole section of a website on tdsb.on.ca. I'll post that, why not? And what else? Oh, yes. This is around police. This is around, I'm going to say police and trafficking, without saying all the other colorful words, but more and more you might be seeing it, some of us more than others, how they are arresting, how they are uncovering many of, around porn, a not so nice P word, but that, sex trafficking, because, pedophilia, another P word, all of this is been worked on for decades, and I've actually listened to, he was a police guy in the UK, this was about a month ago or so, and really how they pushed him out of the police force because he was wanting to how can I say it, really make a difference for what was going on, and this is in the UK. But it seemed like the police we're told by the certain powerful people, politicians, I love all these P words that just keep coming in here, were actually, so maybe from the powerful people, through the politicians, through to the police, had a play in not having the police do their job. As simple as that. Now, it seems like more and more this is become more of a global with certain powerful people, and I've learned recently that Trump, not just in this time of being the president or even just, you know, running for president, but even before, was very instrumental in doing things. And this might not be what you're hearing in the mainstream media, so be it. If I find Liz Crokin, who is actually an investigative reporter, she talks about a little bit about it, and I will try and find Liz's video and post it up there. But that is very positive, people, where this is being uncovered. It is in the news. You probably have to search for it. It's probably not something that is in your CNN, your 6 o'clock news. It's probably not there. So very, 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 very positive there. And I'm just going by I'll post that as well. Oh, another positive thing. New Brunswick's mandatory vaccination bill was voted down. And I know it was a slim margin, but it doesn't matter. We don't get hung up that it was close, but I believe it was like 22 to 20, something around there. 22 voted against making the mandatory vaccines, partly due to the freedoms. And to think, so they just said it just didn't seem right that the people didn't have the freedom to choose, and that they felt that it was much better that if there was if the people, if the science, if all of that, and this is a great way for them to kind of to phrase it, and the position, if the science is there and the education, then there's no reason why people wouldn't get vaccines. I kind of like that position on that. So that's the idea. So they only had a couple of people speak to it in this article. I'll post that article as well. And let's just see here what else there is. Oh, I've got to watch this yet. This is one of my favorite topics, is fluoride. And so fluoride is on trial big time. There's definitely been advocates and organizations that have been against fluoride. In fact, they've won. They've got the fluoride out of the water. Now, in the book I wrote, I did a lot of research on the fluoride. I kind of tied some things together, and I was in touch with, even when I was going to Ireland, because I was exploring what were the fluoride levels, or what was happening in Ireland when it came to fluoride and how much was there. And surprisingly, in the UK, be it the Northern Ireland, there was like 10%. So it's going to be mostly probably the major cities where they can add it in their like city water, tap water. But in the Republic of Ireland, I think it was 70%. So it's very, I mean, if you've got well water, it's very difficult to do. But all of the cities and the towns that have city water, it's much easier to add. But this is great news, absolutely fabulous news, that fluoride is on trial and the EPA is involved, as in they're being challenged. So I've got yet to watch this piece. So if again, I might bring it up in a future live at 5 and talk to it then. What else is there? Let's see what else. So we got the Ottawa thing. Yeah, let's see if I wrote anything else. No, I think it's really important that you understand that predictions and then post-event, we're kind of in a post-event now, that you get to understand, you become aware of what actually transitioned, what actually did happen. And that will start everybody to tune in, and just how much times they have riled the people up, they have put in the fear, and it never come to fruition. The idea is you won't find this probably on If it doesn't, if it isn't in the favor of the agendas, let's say, then let's just forget about it, right? Let's just knock it off and let's not talk about it again. It's easy. People would do that. You know, something happens and you just over time things just, you know, you lay low, the event lays, and then it just kind of fizzles out. I don't think we're going to have this here because of the push for some things that seem like agenda, part of the tracking, you know, the ID, cashless society, like much of what they're kind of doing in communist China. Those kind of things. I'm not sure if they have mandatory vaccines there, but pharma, you know, the pharmaceuticals, making more money, making more money. I don't understand how the pharmaceutical industries actually get bailouts, to tell you the truth. I can see a little bit about the banks, but the pharmaceutical company, not so much. But here nor there, it's one of the things we've got to stick to our guns. So I think that's really it. Yeah, so my book is published. It's actually got a hard copy. It's probably not even here. But I did post a picture of it. It's probably in the house. And I just wanted to kind of go through it. I wanted to get one copy, be able to kind of go through it, and probably like the 10th time, and do that, and then just kind of get it out there. I know I've got many people to kind of connect. They have said, okay, let me know when it's published, but in time I'll check it out and I'll eventually kind of get through to those people. But if you're on here and we have conversations around the book and you're looking to buy it, I did put the links on with the picture that I posted today. Just took some pictures. So I actually did get the hard copy, so that was fun to take some photographs there. But yeah, so happy to answer any questions. Happy to see any comments here. It's great. And the comments are always great, not just for me, but for everybody to see. It's another P word, participation, where we learn from each other, and comments can trigger more questions, and comments bring other sides to it than I've been able to kind of put into here. And because I'm just talking off the top of my head for the most part, I'm sure I'm leaving out certain things, although I like to keep things simple. I think that's important. So yeah, so today Live at 5 was all about the 7 P's, but as you can see, there was many more P's that kind of trickled in as I was talking here. Yeah, I'm grateful for my new camera. I'm grateful for, oh, what else was it? Oh, I got a new monitor. There was a red line that was coming up and down the screen. I'd never had that happen before, so I guess I probably could have used it for many, many more months. But anyway, it was a gift from somebody, so we'll take that. Other than that, I'm just going to finish up, say wish you a wonderful rest of the evening, and yeah, participate as you can. I guess we're all in this together. The things I like to say kind of at the end is, you know, continue to be calm, compassionate, just, you know, there's always a comfort level with everybody that's around us, so that's where compassion and empathy and stuff we want to, you know, I think it's important to be there, but also to stick to what you believe, you know, your beliefs, which is if you don't want to wear a mask, I don't want to wear a mask, yeah, I'm not going to go. Actually, this is one thing I'll mention up, I don't have the tab up, is the TTC. So the TTC here in the Toronto Transit Commission, for those who don't know what TTC is so we have a quite elaborate transit here in Toronto, and I'll often take it rather than drive, but they are making masks mandatory as of, I believe, July 4th. Now, I'll look up the site on the TTC. They actually had a page that said, okay, but if you're a child under the age of 2, you don't have to wear it. If it were me and your child under the age of 20, I wouldn't wear it. That's just me. But let me continue on here for a minute, and then I'll just, yeah, wrap it up again. I just gotta love the way these things happen. So TTC, There's a list of a handful of reasons not to wear it. So if you have a certain medical condition, then you don't have to wear it. If, oh, am I going to remember all of them? That's the thing. If you, I think it was certain employees, if there's a certain area that they're not in contact with the people, they don't have to wear it. Children under the age of 2 don't have to wear it. Oh, there's a couple more too. But what I'm understanding is they won't be enforcing it. They will not be enforcing it. So if I really need to use the subway, which I really haven't used in a long time, if I have to use the subway, it's because there's no events going on. There's no networking, there's no events, there's no presentations I have to do, no lectures, those kind of things. They're all being done on Zoom. So I haven't had to use the TTC for a very long time. Then I won't wear it. You know, I won't wear it. And if they're not enforcing it, then, you know, say la vie. I'm thinking, because there's these exceptions, that there's going to be, people are going to see enough people not wearing them that it won't become the issue. If I were to go on the TTC, I probably not going to be the only one not wearing it, so therefore it will be uncomfortable. The people speaking up, these lovely, nice Canadian people, polite, another big P word, it won't probably say anything. But I'm not going to test it. At least in my mind right now, I'm not going to test it. So, but will I don't know. I might. Who knows? That would be me. But I definitely will want to, you know, go somewhere. But the idea is, I hear that they're not supposed to. They're not going to be enforcing it. As of now, you never know. If enough people are blah 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 and enough complaints, who knows what will happen, right? But I definitely, if you have a child, now they're not 2 years and younger, but if you have a child, whatever age you think child goes up to, 14, 16, 18, 10, whatever, I wouldn't put it on them. That's just me. I see the children wearing I see the children, what did I see? I think she's probably only 3. She's wearing it, but her family wasn't wearing it. So they looked like a father and then a grandparent, or grandparents that were with them, and were just walking outside, and they weren't wearing it, but the young child was wearing it. So I thought that was very interesting. But there you go. So just pay attention to what, you know, what you want to do and how you feel comfortable, and everybody around us. But it seems definitely, it's definitely kind of lifting. The cloud of craziness or so much fear is lifting. There's definitely people now that before were saying they were very fearful, you know, their parents, you can't come out, and now that's kind of changed. So that's at least a transition into going, yeah, what is going on? They did say there's 2.2 million people going to die in America, at 2.2 million, and they're just over 100K, if that's numbers even right. It's probably not even near right. But that's the kind of thing we have to be aware of. Very important to be aware. So I'm going to close it off officially now and wish you a wonderful evening. And you'll see more and more people are telling people not to watch the media, not to, yeah, I've heard of people, seriously, I've heard of people, they'll wake up at 3, 4 in the morning and turn on their phone to see what the latest news is. You know, if there's that one more additional article or news or whatever, and see what they're saying. See if something happened in the few hours they were sleeping. So we, you know, the whole addiction part of that and the whole need to do that. Listen, if there was something that was absolutely necessary, you would hear it from a neighbor, you'd hear it from a friend, you'd hear it from a family member, you'd hear it maybe on your cell phone, the emergency alert, it won't just be somebody missing. So I just relax with all of that, and you know, every few days, just take note, maybe just read the headline or something. Yeah, or if you have the option to kind of watch, it's like soap opera. Okay, so think of soap opera. You cannot watch it for many months Now, this is not the case here. Time would be different, but you could watch it not for years and you could get caught up. So some of my family watches soap opera, Y&Rs they call it, and I'll sit down after I don't know how many decades or whatever of watching it, and you easily get caught up. You know, you just can easily get caught up without all that. So that's kind of the idea, right? You just want the gist of it. You just want to make sure that you're not in the need to do something. And trust me, you'll find out about it. We'll all find out about it sooner enough. So on that final, say good night. Enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and we'll see you here at Live at 5 when there's a reason, unless it's next Monday. I've got to work on a lot of things. Got some courses that I'm going to be teaching online, and yeah, why Dan, all that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll come on and talk a little bit about that soon, some other time. Anyway, take care, everyone. I hope you're well, and I hope these peas were very helpful. Just plan to have a wonderful evening and relaxing evening, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.